Alright, I should hopefully be live. Hey guys, how is everyone doing? I hope you guys doing well tonight. We're gonna go into the final part of the Alex Murdaugh case. This is where we get into the actual murders, the trial, what convicted him, everything. We've got opening statements to go through, and we have the entire fallout on what happened with Becky Hill afterwards. So we've got quite a bit to go through. It's not gonna be a very long stream. I made sure all of like the massive stuff was in the first stream, so I don't know how long this one's gonna be. But we have a few things, we've got a lot of videos to go through. We'll see. We shall see. But for now, let's just get into the song and have some fun.
Clock ticks slow in a neon room. Shadows hum to a quiet tune. Coffee breathing in the dark. Every stream begins to spark. Sip, sip, stay a while. Pixel glow and a crooked smile. Click, click, don't look back. Something slipping through the cracks. Hear that whisper in your headphones. Feels too close, you're not alone. Stay a while, don't be shy. We've got stories you can't outrun tonight. Soft lights, but the truth cuts through. Every game hides something new. Little clues in what we choose. Late night thoughts you can't refuse. If you're brave, then follow me. Not everything is what it seems. Controller tight, heartbeat quick. Something's moving in the glitch. Chat goes still. Did that move, or is it just the point of view? Don't log off, don't look away. Some things want you here to stay. Stay a while, sinking deep, where the lost don't really sleep. One more story, one more clue. Feels a little close to you. Go on, stay a while. Go on, stay a while.
Hi, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing alright. Sorry for the random abrupt ending to yesterday's stream. I was hit with a random wave of like nausea. I have not been feeling well the last couple of weeks. But I'm pushing through. It hasn't killed me yet, so I'm all right. We're all right, right? We're all right. We're all right. Anyway, we're gonna have fun today. We're going straight into the Murdoch case. We've got a bunch of stuff to cover today. It is it's gonna be intense. Also, I am on the hunt for some sort of like fuck, what is it called? What is it fucking called? Like a plugin for my fuck words. Words have completely escaped me today. Welcome to my life. I'm looking for a plugin for my Chrome that allows me to boost audio because I saw while I was digging into this that Emily D. Baker has something like that and I'm trying to find it. There we go. Brain, thoughts, words. Let's work. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome. I'm having a day. Things have been intense lately. This case in general. Let's get into it. Let's get into my research and react screen. Let's grab the browser. Let's get this up. When we last left off, if I am correct, we were sitting on the final bits of what happened in the Murdoch case. So we had gone into everything from Stephen Smith's murder, Gloria Satterfield's death, Mallory Beach's death, everything into basically what led up to this night and the murders happening this night. I did make a small little mistake on the last one where I said that the attempted assassination was before the murders. It's going to be corrected in this one. This will have the correct timeline of that. I have everything we're going to go over. So, just as a quick little refresher, shall we? Let's go over the beginning bits of the 911 call. Not the entire thing, but this is as Alex apparently rocks up to Moselle, right where the kennels are, and he comes across the body of Paul and Maggie, his wife and his son.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle.
Hold on, what do you mean go XLR? Forsaken, what do you mean? I'm confused. Does the XLR do it? I'm confused. Let me know.
Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Yes, sir. 4147
Okay.
Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay?
Hurry.
Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Yes. Hello?
I'm still here. Stay on the line. I'm still here, okay?
Oh.
Carlton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot. Mr. Murdaugh, go ahead and talk to Carlton.
It's 4147.
All right, I'm pretty sure I've refreshed everyone's mind over that like minute and a half. But he calls, he tells them that he's just pulled up, it's real bad, they've been shot, nobody's moving, nobody's breathing, there's just, he needs someone there immediately. And I have a timeline for this. So, I have literally been working on this entire docket. It's been so much fun, pulling up all these clips and researching things. But you guys don't have to worry about seeing all of that because you're going to see my dumbass face while I read it. So, according to the events that happened, that's what it's called, a fancier stream deck. Listen, I need a fancier stream deck eventually. Let's work up to a better camera first, okay? On the day of the murders, this was 7th of June, 2021, basically, Alex had turned around and said that everyone was fine in the afternoon, they were chilling, they were relaxing, he was at work, he got home, they had dinner together, there was no sign of anything that could have gone wrong that night. Then at about 8:30ish, Paul and Maggie went up to the kennels to deal with the dogs. This is according to Alex. They went up to the kennels to deal with the dogs, and he said he didn't go to the kennels, and just after 9 o'clock, he went to go and see his mother. His mother has dementia or Alzheimer's. I cannot remember which one. I did not note it down. But she has a late in age illness that she's dealing with, and he went to go and visit her. And upon returning at about 10 p.m., he notices that they're not exactly at the house, so he goes up to search if they're still at the kennels, and that's when he comes across the bodies. This is when the call happens that we've just gone through now. So obviously, before anyone suspects it's Alex, there's an entire, like, the whole crew rock up that night. You've got police, you've got ambulance, you've got investigators, you've got Alex calling family and friends over to kind of help him through this. And it's not to say that this was like anything malicious, like he had called these people over in order to contaminate the crime scene or get the crime scene to be a lot like fucked up, but he had called these people over, and it is something that did eventually come into question during the investigation, and later on through social media, a lot of people were kind of speculating of like, well, why did you call the family in? Sorry, I'm swapping my buds because this one is dying. Why would you call the family in when you know it's an active crime scene? Why would you be looking at these things with like family involved when you want to try and solve this? So it did become a bit of an issue, but nobody immediately suspected Alex. Alex did the 911 call. He was very much grieving on the day that this happened. And with everything that kind of went on, people kind of just assumed, okay, well, this could be a target of something else. And that something else would probably be the Mallory Beach situation. So we went over that where she was killed in the boating accident, and there was an entire lawsuit that I went over. Well, not the entire lawsuit, but I went over parts of the lawsuit in the last episode of this. And there was a possibility, and this was a huge speculation that was going around Hampton at that time, was that there's a possibility that someone who had attacked Paul did it because he killed Mallory in their eyes. And for that, like Maggie was just there, she was collateral damage, but he was like the main target. And with the amount of damage done to the bodies, it is quite severe. It is rather fucking severe. Once again, I don't get very graphic on the channel. I don't go into exactly what happened to these bodies, but let's just say that you could see the brain of Paul where he had been shot. It was extremely bad. I'm not going to bring up the reconstruction of the crime scene, but there's a lot that happens through all of this. So they start thinking, okay, maybe it's retaliation for that. And it sticks for a bit. It really does. But Alex's story shifts a little bit. And they kind of dig further into things, because when there's a murder investigation, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at, like, who was the last person with them? What is their cell phone records? What was their, like, travel for the last 48 hours to 72 hours that they were, piece together their last movements. And Alex happened to be the last person that saw them. And, well, something came up in the phone records that kind of sealed the deal. Not yet, but they had noticed a few things, and they were still digging to a lot of stuff. And before they actually arrested him, this is when the roadside shooting happened. Because you see, Alex, at this point in time, his wife and son have died. He's getting investigated for fraud. He's a family tied to a bunch of deaths that have happened. And now he's like, everything is crumbling around him. So what's the best thing to do? Make yourself look like the victim and get yourself, shot at. So we have this. It's actually a press conference. Where is it now? I had it. Let me just like fully click that. There we go. As soon as it comes up. So we have it that he, come on, load. Thank you. Oh my gosh, hold on, it's playing an ad. It's playing an ad. You know, I hate these moments, right? I hate these moments. No, like, adverts, we don't need you. In like 4 seconds, I can, and then I'll swap over, because like, I'm not sponsored by this shit. I'm not, this is why I did not pull it up yet. Because the first time I pulled this up, it gave me issues. Anyway, so this is a, article that came out with a little bit of a snippet from WJCL. Fuck knows. But this is basically their reporting on the shooting that happened.
Alex Murdaugh, whose wife and son were found shot to death in an unsolved case 3 months ago, was shot himself on a rural Hampton County road yesterday. Now the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division is releasing new information. SLED says Alex called 911 at around 1:30 on Saturday. He told a dispatcher he'd been shot on Old Salkehatchie Road near Varnville. We're told Murdaugh's gunshot wound was, quote, superficial. SLED personnel arrived on scene to investigate at around 3:40. They worked throughout the night collecting evidence, processing the crime scene, interviewing potential witnesses, and following up on potential leads.
Okay, so as you guys can imagine, let me just close that off quickly. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I have opening statements. It's so fun. As you can imagine, they spent the entire night trying to figure out who was trying to kill the Murdaugh family, because this is unusual, absolutely unusual. And then they found out that it was Cousin Eddie. And what do we have? We have Cousin Eddie's testimony of the murder-suicide scheme that happened. So his full name is Curtis Smith, but they call him Cousin Eddie, which can I just say, I love, absolutely love. This is not the absolute full thing, but this is basically the beginning. This is the Law and Crime cover of it. And luckily, I don't have to worry too much. Pretty sure if I do that, that's gonna cut out some of it. Not too bad. Okay. We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but we're just like snippets of this, because this is great.
And you learned through your investigation that Alec was paying up to $50,000 a week to a guy named Curtis Eddie Smith for drugs, right?
That's what was told to us, yes.
The name Curtis Eddie Smith has been coming up a lot in Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial. So who exactly is he? Was he involved in the murder of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, and will he testify? I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime's Sidebar Podcast. Curtis Eddie Smith is a name that we all know if we've been following the Murdaugh saga. Curtis Eddie Smith is a distant
He looks dodgy. But yeah, we're gonna listen to who he is.
cousin of Alex Murdaugh, so everyone calls him Cousin Eddie. Smith is in protective custody at the Lexington County Jail, where the records say he's being held for safekeeping. He faces charges related to that roadside shooting of Alex Murdaugh back in September of 2021. This is when Alex Murdaugh said he asked Cousin Eddie to shoot him on the side of the road so he would die, and his son Buster Murdaugh would get $10 million from a life insurance policy.
And that's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. That's literally all we need to know. He hired his distant cousin, Cousin Eddie, to take him out on the side of the road so that his eldest surviving son, Buster, who got into law school, was doing well as a lawyer, well, practicing, like, getting to, like, become a lawyer and everything, doing really well in that, so he could get, like, $10 million from the inheritance, because why not? Why not? Sir, you're just trying to cover tracks here. Like, I'm sorry. I don't buy that he just wanted himself taken out so that his son can get an inheritance. I don't buy that. I, at this, like, point in time, believe that he was using that as an excuse so that Eddie would agree to it, and without having to tell Eddie what was actually going on with everything that was going on with his life, with, like, killing, trial still needs to happen, okay? And the financial crimes, which he has been convicted of, so I can say that is definite. But, like, with everything going on, there's no way he was telling Cousin Eddie, like, oh, by the way, I just want to, like, you know, hide out and not get charged for those shit. So, you know, take me out. Dinner or sniper, your choice. And Eddie was like, well, I've always wanted to play with guns. Like, what the fuck? But that's pretty much what happened. But it didn't stop them. It really didn't stop them. Mr. Boom, that's funny. My nickname is Cousin Eddie. Is it really? Is it really? Also, just by the way, Eris, this is how much coffee I drink. And it's black coffee with no sugar, okay? None. Pure black. So in other words, it is literally just coffee-flavored water that I'm drinking. It's mostly water. It's just got some flavoring in it. Okay? Because I forgot to do that on the last stream and tell you. And yes, I barely did my makeup today, don't judge me. Anyway, moving on to the next bit. So, this whole thing comes out, and they're like, okay, cool, no problem. At this point in time, they realize, like, Eddie is not gonna help much. He's probably understanding what's going on with everything, but they don't have enough to charge him or say that he is connected to the crime. So the only person that they can fully get hold of is Alex, because they have a piece of evidence that nobody sees until opening fucking statements. And I can tell you now, opening statements is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. No, I just wanted credit for the crime. I didn't do my makeup either. You know what, Boom? I understand, okay? You refuse to give us emo, Boom. You refuse. But we have opening statements, and I love opening statements. Can I just say, like, when it comes to the legal side, if I ever had to become a lawyer, okay, I would 100% be a proper, like, trial lawyer. Like, I would want to go in and do the dramatics and everything, and I want to, like, I would thrive off of the theatrics of a courtroom. I really would. Okay, but I can't rub two brain cells together, so I'm never going to be a lawyer. Also, I was always told as a kid when I told my mom I wanted to be a lawyer that I'm not allowed to be because I would be held in contempt of court for telling the judge to go fuck himself constantly because I didn't agree with what he said. That might have been an issue. Just a small one. Just a small one. Anyway, let's get here. So, if I go into here, I've got quite a bit. Okay, so we're gonna start at literally like 33:05 and we're only going to end like 3 minutes later. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this because I can tell you now, the opening statements are beautiful. There was I'm gonna go a little bit further back because I love the judge in this case. He is so southern, it makes me so fucking happy. I cannot explain. Like, I don't know if you guys have this, but like there's always that like one particular like accent and you're like, I love it. You sound like a happy person. If you could narrate my life, Southern accent does that for me. Like, I would love a sassy Southern person to just narrate my life. I would. And then all the bad decisions that I make, she can look at me and be like, bless your heart. It's just all I want. All right, so this is Judge Newman. Judge Newman's really awesome. Every time the jury needed to come in, he would stand up and be like, bring the jury. It was really fun. It eventually turned into a meme. It was really great during the trial. But this was for opening statements.
Not rush, but take the time necessary to have this case fully presented to you. We'll now proceed to opening statements by the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court.
May it please the court.
On the evening of June 7th, 2021, at the defendant's property off Moselle Road in Colleton County, his son, Paul Murdaugh, was standing in a small feed room and some kennels they had on the property. About 8:50 p.m., and the defendant over there, Alex Murdaugh, took a 12-gauge shotgun and shot him in the shoulder, in the chest and the shoulder, with buckshot.
Fucking
and the evidence is going to show it was a 1,000,000-to-1 shot. He could have survived that, but after that, another shot went up under his head and did catastrophic damage.
There's the brains.
To his brain and his head. The evidence is going to show that Paul collapsed right outside that feed room. And just moments later, he picked up a .300 Blackout, which is a type of ammunition, but an AR-style rifle. And the evidence is going to show that the family had multiple weapons throughout the property. Picked up that .300 Blackout rifle and opened fire on his wife, Maggie, just feet away near some sheds that used to be a hangar. Pow, pow. 2 shots, abdomen in the leg, and took her down. And after that, there were additional shots, including 2 shots to the head that again did catastrophic damage and killed her instantly.
Like, I know he's describing the murders. It is so intense. But he's doing it so well that just holds you the entire time. It is so fucking sad what happened to both Paul and Maggie. And this is just devastating. But he's delivering this so well.
The evidence is going to show that neither Paul nor Maggie had any defensive wounds. Neither one of them had any defensive wounds, as if they didn't see a threat coming from their attacker. And the evidence is also going to show that both Maggie and Paul were shot at extremely close range. The evidence is going to show it's called stippling. It's almost like a tattoo, that when you get shot very close to a weapon, it leaves marks that the forensic pathologist can see. They were shot at close range and they did not have defensive wounds. And the evidence is going to show that the defendant, Alex Murdaugh over there, told anyone who would listen that he was never at those kennels. But the evidence is also going to show from these things that every one of us, most of us carry around in our pocket, that he was there. And he was there just minutes before, with Maggie and Paul, just minutes before their cell phones go silent forever and ever. Despite what he told people, I was never at the kennels, the cell phones are going to show otherwise. Ladies and
Can I just, bravo, sir, bravo. Like, I love the dramatics of it. I really do love the dramatics of it because, like, for me, it tells the story in such a way that you're forced to fucking pay attention to. Because if you just turn around and you're like, oh, 2 people were shot, nobody's gonna fucking care. Because in this day and age, it happens so often that you've got to capture them to, like, it's just, he does this so well. He's a brilliant lawyer. He's an absolute brilliant lawyer. However, that's not the end of his statement. Sorry, I just whacked my mic by accident. Whoopsie. We get a bit of a tease on, like, that kennel video. Okay. And then in the exact same opening statement, okay, and I tell you, this opening statement went on for like half an hour. It was great. 57:52. Let me just grab there quickly. We actually get a little bit more on that cell phone piece. A little bit more information on what could have happened with that cell phone. So, when it loads, thank you. Hey Momo. Bro, I'm struggling, lol, sorry I'm late. No worries, Momo, it's cool. I appreciate you being here, thank you. I appreciate you. We just got into the trial, and we're getting into the opening statements of the trial. I've only been live for half an hour, don't worry. You got this. You got this. Alright. So here they kind of play the video. And it's not something you can kind of get away with when you've been telling absolutely everybody who can hear you from here to fucking Kingdom Come that you were not at the kennels. You were not there. You were someone else. You weren't even in the vicinity of the property at that point in time. And then something comes out and they're like, yeah, but wait. And let me know if you guys can spot it, because I'm pretty sure he'll tell you, but oh my gosh.
hear evidence about how much Alec used his own cell phone, and it would be unusual for him to be anywhere without his cell phone. At 8:44 and 55 seconds, Paul recorded a video. He was down at the kennels because he had been talking to a friend of his. And you're going to hear from this friend because his friend's dog was in the kennels and they thought there was something wrong with the tail. And Paul was recording a video of it to send to his friend. 8:44 and 55 seconds. And on that video, and you'll see that video, and you'll hear from witnesses that identify Paul's voice, Maggie's voice, and Alex's voice. Told anyone who would listen he was never there.
For anyone who's watching through Audible only, during the time of mentioning that Alex's voice was on the tape, Alex leaned over and started whispering to his lawyer. That is what is currently being shown during this. So I'm not sure if Alex knew that this was coming in. I'm pretty sure because like lawyers kind of need to discuss what's coming in no matter what. But this was like the bombshell that was not publicly known. It was like the absolute nail in the coffin for this one.
8:44.
I know, Momo.
Seconds.
Me too.
Video. The evidence will show that he was there. He was at the murder scene with the two victims. And more than that, just over 3 minutes later, 8:49 and 1 second, Paul's phone locks forever. He never reads another text. He never sends another text. He doesn't answer calls. 3 minutes after that video has the defendant at the murder scene with the two victims, Paul's phone goes silent forever. And in fact, another communication comes into the very friend that he was talking to the dog at 8:49 and 35 seconds, just 35 seconds later, and he doesn't answer it. He never answers another thing forever and ever. And on top of that, Maggie's phone locks at 8:49 and 31 seconds, around that same time, and she never answers another text, never sends another text, never makes another phone call, never receives.
So he's hammering on the text thing, and he's hammering on the cell phone, because the cell phone is technically what is the biggest part of this case. The cell phone evidence is what got Murdaugh complete. Like, many jurors turned around and said that once they saw the cell phone evidence, their mind had been made up. They kind of knew from there what was going on. I would have been drawing with crayons at that time. You know what, Boom? I would have been snacking on something, knowing me. Hey, Sapphire, hope you're doing well. Who let this dude out? That's wicked work. Yeah, this guy really likes the word forever. He really, really likes the word forever.
3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes after a video shows he's at the scene with the victims, and he told everybody he was never there. Never there. Credibility, ladies and gentlemen. Credibility.
I would have had so much fun as a prosecutor. Oh, I would have had so much fucking fun.
Well, you'll hear evidence that Alex's phone was conspicuously, didn't have a lot of activity from about 8:09 p.m. until 9:02 p.m. And if he was at the kennels, which the evidence will show, why is his phone not with him? Why is it not showing activity? But you will hear that at 9:02, all of a sudden his phone does start to pick up activity. At 9:02, he he starts moving. At 9:04, he calls Maggie's phone. Doesn't answer, of course. Doesn't answer. He calls his father, Randolph, who's in the hospital. Doesn't appear there's an answer there. He calls Maggie again at 9:06. Remember, he's just a third of a mile away. You can see it. At 9:06, she doesn't answer. At 9:06, he turns on his car, his Suburban, and he texts Maggie that he's going, be right back. I'm going to go check on Mom.
The murders had happened by now. They were already gone by now when he set up his alibi.
And he doesn't drive down to the kennels, even though that's where the mailbox is. That's a common place to be, even though you can see it. He's called his wife 2 times and texted her, and she hasn't responded. But he didn't just drive down there and say, hey, I'm heading. You guys want to go? What's up? What's up? Right there. You can see
A
it.
lawyer saying, what's up? I love it.
He then drives to Alameda, where his mom is suffering from Alzheimer's, and the caretaker is there. And he starts calling people. He's talking to people. It'll be up to you to decide whether or not he's trying to manufacture an alibi.
He's manufacturing an alibi, obviously. Obviously. There's his
Gets
son
there
in
to
the back,
Alameda.
by the way.
You'll hear
That was his
evidence
son at the
about
back,
whether or not
Buster.
that was usual. You'll hear evidence about how he was acting when he got there. And he's only there for 20 minutes because he's back underway at 9:44. And he makes more phone calls on the way back. Calling friends, calling people who will answer. It'll be up to you to decide whether he's trying to create an alibi. And he gets back to Moselle at 10:01. And he calls 911 at 10:06. Listen to that 911 call. Listen to what he says. Listen to what explanations he may offer.
So you can see they literally dug through everything. Whoops, wrong screen. They dug through everything. Okay? They did their fucking job. Okay? They made sure 110 million fucking % that this was done correctly. Okay, and there you can hear, like, in the kennel video, it is said that, and I've got the kennel video, don't worry, I will show you the kennel video. We have it, but we're going through the statements first. Okay, first, very important. Okay, so he finishes his argument, and the defense gets up. And the defense is kind of like, we're gonna try our best. That's how I'm gonna put it. They're gonna try their best. Defense, we're gonna go through, there's a few clips, not major. The main reason why I want to focus on the prosecution statement is because the defense's statement is cute and adorable, but doesn't really fly. And what the prosecution has gone through now, what I'm kind of showing you, I need to show you that so that I don't have to go through the evidence myself with you guys. That would take 15 streams, a hell of a lot of shit, and you guys would be bored with me trying to pronounce like every other word. However, there are like very key moments from this that we need to like go through. So defense's one. They start at an hour and 7 minutes and 32. So we were pretty close to the ending of that one. Hour and 7 minutes 32. Cool. So the defense comes up and they start attacking immediately from get-go. They're like, motive. Like, what motive does this guy have? Okay, he's currently losing everything. Like, what motive? You guys will hear it in their words now. If I'm correct, Alex Murdaugh's lawyer's name is Dick Harpootlian, and I just find that a very funny name. Anyway, here he is. I think it's his lawyer.
This is Alex Murdaugh.
Hey, Octoling.
And Alex was the loving father of Paul and the loving husband of Maggie.
Oh, don't start with me.
You're not going to hear a single
It was the video, not
witness say that their relationship, Maggie and Alex's relationship, were anything other than loving. You're going to hear about how they went to a baseball game the weekend before. You're going to hear about their relationship. You're going to see texts and emails indicating a loving relationship. Paul, the apple of his eye. You're going to see a video somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock the night of the murders with Paul and Alec riding around looking at some trees they planted. It's a Snapchat that Paul sent to other people because the trees were not planted very well. They were cantilevering over. They're laughing. They're having a good time.
So, can I point out that I'm pretty sure Ted Bundy laughed with his victims beforehand too. Not everybody knows what's coming.
It would be about an hour before the Attorney General says he swatted them. When I say he swatted them, when they were swatted, and no question, Paul Murdaugh was shot twice with buckshot, 12-gauge buckshot, once in the chest. And by the way, that shot would indicate it was in the chest and came out under his arm.
Okay, we don't need to hear the entire... Okay, but they basically attack it immediately. Then we go to 116. Right. And at 116, where was that? What was it, 116? 39. Okay, they're like, listen, if you're gonna shoot these people, there should be, like, substantial evidence. Right.
Feet away. Maybe closer, maybe a little further away. His head exploded. You would be covered in blood from head to foot. Head to foot. In blood. They seized his clothes that night. SLED did. And they well, first of all, you're going to see in the videos from the officers that arrived that night, there's no blood on him. They didn't find any blood on him. SLED's testing indicated 12 different places on his shirt and pants. No human blood detected. Period.
So I don't think you want to use that term while we're talking about human blood being detected on people. But anyway, okay. So, like, that's cute and all. But I can already see the hole in this, right? He killed them at like 8:45, 8:50. Okay. He then, you know, went and showered and then got in his car. And then, you know, when you shower, you put on new clothes. You don't put on your old clothes. That's kind of gross. Okay. You put on your new clothes and then, so like you would wash off. Yeah. Didn't think about that, sir, did you?
Okay. You'll
Take a shot every time you hear the word shot.
White t-shirt, no blood on it. Those are facts. Those aren't theories. Those are facts. Another fact that is, I think, the reason we're here today. When you hear those questions on the videotapes on the night, now he's found his wife and son brutally butchered. You can hear on the 911 tape, he is hysterical. He comes in and out. It's consistent. If any of you have ever, you got to use your experience as part of this deliberation process.
And the thing is, the defense is doing well. The defense is trying really hard to kind of put holes in the theory. He was a loving husband. He was a loving father. He doted over his children. He did everything he could for them. You know, he wouldn't do this. He's, you know, distraught over their deaths. You can hear it in his voice. Like, they're really trying hard to poke holes in the theory. All right. And then 129.12, right? 129.12, which is basically the entire defense's statement in one fucking thing, right? Yes, timestamping this afternoon was tons of fun, thank you. I had lots of fun. Yay. Yeah. I did, actually. I did. I know I sound like I want to complain. I actually had fun with this afternoon. I actually enjoyed it. Yeah.
There's no direct evidence. There's no eyewitness. There's no camera. There's no fingerprints. There's no forensics tying him to the crime. None. None. I say that without any fear of contradiction whatsoever. None. And what the judge is going to tell you is, to the extent the state relies on circumstantial evidence, the circumstances must be consistent with each other, and when taken together, point conclusively to the guilt of the accused beyond a reasonable doubt. If these circumstances merely portray the defendant's behavior as suspicious, the proof has failed. Now, this smoke they've created is about suspicion. I mean, if you show up at the scene and you got the wife, the wife especially dead, and the guy's got a shotgun, you know, it's pretty logical for the cops to jump to a conclusion. He did it. And the problem is that as they came to that conclusion, they have pounded that square peg in the round hole, and you're going to hear about it. They've ignored some witnesses. I mean, for instance, that blue tarp showed up with a blue tarp. That witness who said he showed up with a blue tarp was shown a blue rain jacket that he talked about. Said, that's not it. That's not what he brought here that morning.
Tonight, Alex Murdaugh's alibi potentially destroyed by his son's own video.
Get back. Get back.
Prosecutors revealing a 58-second cell phone video recorded by Paul Murdaugh directly contradicting Alex Murdaugh's story, placing him at the murder scene minutes before his wife and son were shot to death. In the video, you can...
Oh my gosh, I muted myself. Sorry, I muted myself because, like, I was coughing. My bad. Anyway, This is the video that has, thank you, I realized that. Thank you, Cryo, thank you. This is the video that shows the kennel video. This is the kennel video one. Okay, so this is quite fun because it fucks with everything. Like the defense really thought they had something, and this fucked with them.
You can see Paul going into a pen on the family's property to check on a friend's dog. In the background, you hear other voices.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Murdaugh claimed he didn't go to the family's kennels that night until he found his wife and son's bodies.
I was up at the house. I laid down, took a nap on the couch, probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes.
In emotional testimony, close family friend Rogan Gibson recalling how he talked to Paul Murdaugh that night about his injured dog. Paul telling him he'd take a video.
Did you hear any other voices when you were on the phone with Paul about 8:40?
I did.
And what voices did you hear?
I heard Miss Maggie.
And who else did you hear?
And I thought it was Mr. Alec that I heard.
Cell phone records show Paul took that video right after that call. Minutes later, he and his mother were dead.
Did you ever get that video?
I did not.
Police later showed Gibson that video from inside the kennel.
And what voices did you hear?
Paul's, Miss Maggie, Mr. Alec.
And how sure are you now?
Positive.
100%?
That's correct.
Prosecutors playing that video for him again in court.
Can you
Like it really, like, at this point in time in the trial, Alex is fucked. Alex is fucked. Okay? Like, absolutely. Dude, you are caught on video moments before the murders when you said you weren't there. Okay? On a video that was supposed to be sent to a friend that was never sent. The friend needed to see that video through the police. Like, he never got that video that night. It fucking astounds me. So that video was the final thing for most of the jurors. However, in this case, we had a little bit more fun because you would expect someone in a high-profile murder case like this to sit down, shut the fuck up, and not say anything. But no, Alex is a very confident person in himself and decided that he was going to take the stand. And I'm not kidding you when I say that there is over 9 hours of testimony on one day alone on what he goes over. It is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. Okay. I found a video that gives us the highlights. We're going to go through some of the highlights. Not all of them, but some of them. Can't remember if I timestamped this. No, did I? No, I didn't. I did not timestamp this video. Oh well, let's skip around and see what happens. I mean, fuck, we can always just go to the most played parts and pretty sure we'll be good there. Alright, so, start from the beginning. And again, law and crime, okay? Can I just say, I had such an obsession with law and crime at one stage that I would be waking up in the morning and the first thing I'd be doing is checking out to see what law and crime's updates would be because it fascinates me what the fuck goes on in American crime. Like, it really fucking does. And the fact that you guys have, like, Freedom of Information Act and everything is pretty much all public and everyone gets to see all this shit, and I'm like, yay! So fun. So fucking fun. But yeah, let's go through this.
To understand, I do not dispute that I stole money that was not my money, that I misled people to do that I misled people that trusted me.
Alex Murdaugh on the hot seat under cross-examination. Is he telling the truth or is he lying? The jury will have to decide.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't gonna give you like normal thing. Like the cross-examination is my most important one because that's where you're like actually put to the test and not taught bullshit through your lawyer.
I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. One of the first things that Creighton Waters, the Assistant Attorney General representing the state of South Carolina, did when he was cross-examining Alex Murdaugh was ask him about his claim that he didn't trust SLED, and that's why he lied about being at the kennels on the night of the murders. It's curious because the Murdaugh family has basically been a part of law enforcement for a century in the area. Murdaugh was a volunteer assistant solicitor and carried a couple of badges, one belonging to him and one belonging to his grandfather. He was asked about carrying one when he and his dad showed up at the hospital on the night of the boat crash involving his son, Paul.
I'll show you what's been marked as States 569. And do you recognize the person?
Which, like, by the way, why the fuck are you carrying your grandfather's shit around? Like, work for your own shit, okay? That's not your badge. Put the badge down. It's not your fucking badge.
On the right in that image?
No, sir.
You don't recognize that?
I don't recognize him.
No, I'm asking about that.
Oh, me?
Is that you?
Yeah, it looks like me.
All right. What's hanging out of your pocket in plain view?
Looks like a badge.
You didn't recall that until I just showed you that picture?
No, sir, I did not.
So, what is a solicitor doing walking around with what seems to be a law enforcement badge? Just out of curiosity. Let's find another peak place, shall we? This is interesting. What happens here? Let's find out.
The prosecution and law enforcement and so many of your friends and family heard for the first time your story about the kennels yesterday after all these weeks of testimony. Can we agree on that?
That law enforcement, my partners, and my friends heard me say that for the first time. Yes, I agree with that.
I think everyone watching this case has been wondering.
Sir. You could have just said yes. You seriously could have just said yes. You could have, like, easily just said yes. What's the next most played part?
Those land deals, but, you know, if I spent money on other things, I don't dispute that either. I just haven't looked at the records.
Okay.
Oh, this is about the money.
But you would at least concede that the money you were stealing was going to support your ever-expanding wealthy lifestyle. Would you concede that?
Did all of the money I stole?
Any of it, Mr. Murdaugh?
Any of it? Yeah, I would certainly agree that there was money that didn't go to buy just pills.
All right. And you would concede that even though you were generating millions of dollars in fees, that was not enough for you. Would you concede that?
If by concede that, you mean was I also stealing money that I shouldn't have? Yes, sir, I agree with that. I've said that repeatedly.
I can't. This guy drives me fucking nuts. What's next?
Where were you when these texts were taking place?
I was in a hotel.
And what city were you in?
Columbia, South Carolina. Where
Which
they
text
were
messages?
when they,
Okay, we're not interested. We're not worried about those. We're not worried about that. That's just like random. That's the financial stuff. We're not covering that.
Again,
but I didn't see him.
All of this detail was people were hearing for the first time yesterday, like we talked about before, correct?
Say that again?
All of this detail that we're going through right now is not anything that you related before. We're all hearing this for the first time yesterday.
Objection, Your Honor. Fifth Amendment privilege.
Objections overruled.
So, yes, I did not tell law enforcement.
Can I just say, those sirens are so ominous. The sirens are so ominous. They're like, haha, your future's coming for you. You're fucked, dude. Anyway, as you can see, he took the stand, and he did not make the process any fucking easier. Okay? At all. At fucking all. Was he asked at any point in time, did he kill his wife and children? Yeah, he was asked. He was asked. Can I find that exact spot? Not that I can see. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it on the other side. Nope. There's nothing. And there's nothing on the important bits. Nope. No, nothing that I can see. Yeah, no. But he basically turns around and he was like, I have never shot my children or my wife, and I would never have done that. And nobody believed him. Like, nobody believed him. Nobody believed him. Because they were like, okay, cute. Like, really, 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 really cute. Okay, so this trial, which was supposed to, and I'm not fucking kidding you, it was supposed to be 3 weeks. It was supposed to be 3 weeks. It lasted 6 weeks. Okay, these jurors signed up for 3 weeks of woohoo, and 6 weeks later they were still getting fucked over. Okay, it was intense. We had jurors come and go. There was a juror at one point. I'm not kidding you, and this kind of ties into like what we're gonna go over with the Becky Hill stuff. But there was a juror that she was accused of being found out of talking about the trial outside of the trial, like speaking about it, and she wasn't supposed to speak about it. Like, if you're a juror, you're not supposed to say a fucking word, not even to the other jurors, until deliberation. Like, you're not supposed to say shit. And she was accused of saying stuff, and there was an anonymous email that came through, and she landed up getting removed from the jury. She's known as the egg juror lady. And she had actually, she's done an interview, and she was like, I never spoke to anyone. But I did speak to Becky Hill beforehand, and I did tell her that I wasn't sure where I stood on my verdict. And this was before deliberation. She was removed. So it kind of ties into like a little bit of suspicion on this whole like Becky Hill thing, on like what happened there. But after all of this, okay, after the closing arguments were given, because we're not going to go over that, the closing arguments were a bit intense. Okay, after everything was finally given, the jurors took less than 3 hours to deliberate. And there is an interview going around. I can't remember, I don't think it's an interview. I actually think it's a part of a series, and I will not pull up series for copyright reasons. But there's a series that one of the jurors spoke out, and they were like, we went in, and most of us were like guilty. One was unsure, and 2 were like innocent. And we were like, okay, we just got to go over this a little bit more and see what's going on. And at the end of 3 hours, they all were like, okay, fine, guilty. And like the short amount of time from jury deliberation, like you go into deliberation, and that the short amount of time made people sit and go, was the case that overwhelming? Or were their minds already made up beforehand? And if their minds were made up beforehand, what kind of influenced it? Was it the official trial that influenced it? Or was it the next case that we will end up getting into? Not the case, but the next part of this case that we will get into, which is the Becky Hill part, which will come up after sentencing and all of that. But first we're going to go through the conviction. So it came back, he was guilty. This is the official conviction of it, of him being basically convicted as guilty, basically going through everything. And I want you to pay attention to the person who speaks these lines. Okay, because it's not the foreperson of the jury, which it normally is. Apparently, here in South Carolina, where we are currently at, they have the clerk of court read out these things. So I want you to pay attention to her and what she looks like.
State of South Carolina versus.
Docket number 2022 GS 15-00592, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions in the term of 2022, July, the State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116.
Oh my God, next part, because that's a lot.
Verdict. Signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593, the State of South Carolina.
She's going to go through all of this.
In the Court of General Session, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010.
Oh my God, so many numbers.
Code 0116.
Anyway, a lot of numbers, but I want you to see the girl, okay? Where's this lady again? Does she appear again? Lady, where are you? Lady, where the fuck are you? There she is. This lady over here. Ah, Becky Hill.
Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 729. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
You see, Buster seems a little upset. Yeah, Buster seems a little upset. Also, what they're doing right now is they're polling the jurors. So what they do is like, if they're not 100% sure on, not like the verdict, but they just like, they want to do a poll to make sure that this was everyone's verdict. They ask for it, and then she'll stand there and she'll be like, is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? And go through all of them to make sure that it was actually unanimous. Anyway, he came back guilty as fucking anything for this whole thing. And that was great. That was great. So Judge Newman, who obviously had been presiding over everything from start to finish, he was dealing with all of this. Okay. He then eventually did sentencing. Now, you guys know sentencing is like one of my favorite parts of a trial. Because then the judge gets to say their say on everything. And that always makes me feel happy. It really, really, really does make me feel so fucking happy. Really, 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 really does. So this is quite long, but it is important that we go through it. It really is important. I did not timestamp the entire thing because I was like, well, he speaks slow enough so that we can kind of like speed it up a little bit. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. And we're gonna get through this because it's really intense what the judge goes through. I fucking love it. I think the judge did very well in what he said in this. Also, look at him. He's so adorable.
Mr. Murdaugh, if you'll come before the court for sentencing. This has been perhaps one of the most troubling cases, not just for me as a judge, for the state, for the defense team, but for all of the citizens in this community, all the citizens in the state, and as we've seen based on the media coverage throughout the nation. You have a wife who's been killed, murdered, a son savagely murdered, a lawyer, a person from a respected family who has controlled justice in this community for over a century, a person whose grandfather's portrait hang at the back of the courthouse that I had to have ordered removed in order to ensure that a fair trial was had by both the state and the defense.
Okay, just take that into account. His grandfather's portrait was hanging up in the courtroom, and it needed to be taken down in order to ensure a fair trial, because they all knew exactly who the fuck he was and his grandfather. Like, that's how much influence these people had. That is fucking terrifying. But also, like, comic justice right there, having to have your grandfather's portrait taken down because you decided to be a fucking dumbass.
And I've sat through the trial. Not only have I sat through the trial, but also as the presiding judge of the state grand jury, sat through and participated in the issuance of search warrants of various sorts, bond hearings, and have had to consider many things. And we have this case, and I'm also assigned to preside over, is it 99 others? At least 99 other cases.
Those are
the testimony has come up regarding
ones.
many of those other cases. I will not make any comment with regard to any other pending matter, as I have been assigned those cases as well. It's also particularly troubling, Mr. Murdaugh, because as a member of the legal community and a well-known member of the legal community, you've practiced law before me, and we've seen each other at various occasions throughout the years. And it was especially heartbreaking for me to see you go in the media from being a grieving father who lost a wife and a son to being the person indicted and convicted of killing them. And you've engaged in such duplicitous conduct here in the courtroom, here on the witness stand, and as established by the testimony throughout the time leading from the time of the indictment and prior to the indictment throughout the trial to this moment in time. Certainly, you have no obligation to say anything other than saying not guilty. And obviously, it's appeal.
Can I just say, like, it must be so heartbreaking for this judge right now because this is someone he worked with. Someone he fucking worked with. Okay? Also, he used the word duplicitous. I fucking love that. I love that.
Appeals are probably expected or absolutely expected. I would not expect a confession of any kind. In fact, as I've presided over murder cases over the past 22 years, I have yet to find a defendant who could go there, who could go back to that moment in time when they decided to pull the trigger or to otherwise murder someone. I have not been able to get anyone, any defendant, even those who have confessed to being guilty, to go back and explain to me what happened at that moment in time.
What happened?
When they opted to pull the trigger, when they opted to commit the most heinous crime known to man. In this case, qualifies under our death penalty statute, based on the statutory aggravating circumstances of 2 or more people being murdered by the defendant by one act or pursuant to one scheme or course of conduct. I don't question at all the decision of the state not to pursue the death penalty. But as I said here,
However, now with the new trial, they are kind of looking at death penalty. The random what happened killed me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay? My brain needed to. My brain needed to. It's been difficult, okay? It's been really fucking difficult.
Here in this courtroom and look around the many portraits of judges and other court officials and reflect on the fact that over the past century, your family, including you, have been prosecuting people here in this courtroom, and many have received the death penalty, probably for lesser conduct.
So that's like showing like the preferential treatment he's fucking getting right now.
Remind me of the expression you gave on the witness stand. Was it tangled?
Tangled web, we weave.
Oh, what tangled web we weave? What did you mean by that?
And then when I lied, I continue to lie.
And the question is, when will it end? When will it end? And it's ended already for the jury because they've concluded that you continue to lie and lied throughout your testimony. And perhaps with all the throng of people here, they, for the most part, all believe, or 80, 90%, 99% believe that you continue to lie now when your statement of denial to the court. Perhaps
like no one
believe
believes
that
them.
It does not matter. That
No.
There's nothing that can mitigate a sentence given the crimes that were committed. You know, a notice of alibi was filed in this case by counsel in November, and we conducted a hearing, pretrial hearing, in which you claimed to have been someplace else at the time the crime was committed. And then, after all of the witnesses placed you at the scene of the crime, at the last minute, or last minutes or days, you switch courses and admitted to being there. And then that necessitated more lies and continued to lie. And I said, where will it end? It's already ended for many who have heard you and concluded that it'll never end. But within your own soul, you have to deal with that.
This gets intense. This gets so intense.
See Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you. I'm sure.
All day and every night.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they will continue to do so. And reflect on the last time they looked you in the eyes.
How fucking intense. You have to face Paul and Maggie when they come to visit you every night, and he responds with every day and every night they do. And he goes, and you've got to deal with what they were like when they looked you in the eyes for the last time. Like, how? Alec, if I were in your situation, ground swallow me up. I'm done. Take me, put me out. I'm cool. Like, just, I will take the death penalty at that point in time. That fucking, I hope that stings him. Oh, God, that is such a line.
As you look the jury in the eyes, I don't know a person who's always been such a gregarious, friendly person can cause your life to be tangled in such a weave web, such a situation that yours have spun into, and it's so unfortunate because you had such a lovely family of such friendly people, including you, and to go from that to this. You know, your license to practice law has been stripped away from you.
Thank God.
You turned from lawyer to witness, and now have an opportunity to make your final appeal as an ex-lawyer. And it's almost, it's really surprising that you're waiving this right at this time. And if you opt to do so, it's on you. You're not compelled to say anything, but you have the opportunity to do so.
And I tell you again, I respect this court, but I'm innocent. I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son, Paul.
Well, and it might not have been you. It might have been the monster you become when you take 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 opioid pills. Maybe you become another person. I've seen that before. The person standing before me was not the person who committed the crime, though it's the same individual. We'll leave that at that.
Like, what the, like, Alec was like, I would never do this. And the judge was like, you know what, maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was a different version of you. Not letting him get away with, like, I didn't do this. Like, maybe it was a different version of you. It was an intense case. It was a trial that lasted 6 weeks, and everything that led up to it was disastrous, and nobody knew their fucking ass from their elbow half the fucking time because of how intense this case was getting. And this was the final thing. Or so we thought. We all hoped. We were like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it. It's gonna be the finals. It's not the finals. No, Becky Hill, lovely, lovely lady Becky Hill that we have been mentioning every now and then. During this entire time, lovely clerk of the court decided that during this time, during being a part of the entire proceedings, she was going to write a book. And so she did. She wrote a book about the trial. And in the book, she basically says that at one point in time, she goes to the where they go to like the actual location. They do like the location viewing of the crime scene, so that everyone can kind of get a perspective of like what happened, where everything was, and all of that. And they're not really supposed to talk during all of this, so they don't. But she puts in the book that she had shared a glance with a juror, and they just knew in that moment that he was guilty, and she knew, and they knew, and it was like an unspoken thing that they had shared. And it's like, what you should be asking them what like tea and biscuits they need. You shouldn't be giving them these looks during location visits on a trial. And then it gets worse because these rumors start flying around. They do. And then people are like, what else has happened in this entire thing? Like, what else has she said? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, okay, the trial of Becky Hill, where jurors basically revealed that there was alleged jury tampering throughout the trial. We're not going to go through the whole thing, I promise, but we're gonna speed it up just a little bit, okay? And just listen, just listen to what the juror says, okay? Because this should not have fucking happened, okay? It's not that the state fucked up. It's not that, you know, they didn't do their job right or that the defense was, you know, better at their job. None of that. It's the fact that the fucking dumb bitch Becky Hill wanted fucking clout, wrote a book, did all this shit with the jury, that now we're at the point where we're gonna have to deal with this all over again. But we're not there yet, because now we're only at the point where people are talking about what she said. So listen.
Did you hear Ms. Becky Hill make any comment about this case before your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
If yes, what did Ms. Hill say?
To watch his actions.
To watch his actions? What else?
To watch him closely.
To watch him closely. Anything else you remember?
There it is, but I can't remember.
Okay, that's fine. Was your verdict on March the 2nd, 2023 in any way with any influenced in any way with any communications by the clerk of court, Becky Hill, in this case?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
All right. Was your verdict influenced in any way by the communications of the clerk of court in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was it influenced?
To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty.
All right. And I understand that. That's the tenor of the remarks she made. Did that affect your finding of guilty in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
When we began deliberations...
Yeah. Whoops, wrong one. So there. We got people, one person so far. There's a few. I'm not going to go through all of it. Okay, there's a few that turn around and say that what she said kind of influenced them. And it came out that before Alex took the stand, they were all sitting in the jury room, and Becky had gone in to give them like coffee or whatever, and said to them like, "Oh, Alex is going to take the stand. Watch his body language. Watch what he says. Pay attention to it." Almost like offering a message without offering a message, if you get what I mean. Like trying to get a message across, but like if anybody tried to sit and go, okay, well, that's the message you're trying to get across, you could be like, no, I innocently said this instead. So like kind of deflect from it. Okay, that's kind of what she's trying. It didn't work. And during this entire thing, the judge, can I just remember the judge's name? Toll, there we go, Judge Toll, went over this whole thing, looked at all of this, and she was like, okay, it's not enough for us to overturn the verdict. It's just not enough right now for us to overturn the verdict. Like, there was a little bit of jury tampering, but it's not enough. We're gonna stick with it. And that's kind of where we thought it was gonna end. That's literally where we thought it was gonna end. We were like, okay, so even with that, it's gonna be fine. We don't have to worry. Becky did resign. She landed up pleading guilty to, hold on, I will tell you now. I have it here somewhere. She resigned, and if I'm correct, I think it's 13 months of probation. I don't know. She pled guilty, and come on, where is it? Okay, I can't find it here. But yeah, she basically pled guilty, and she's got like probation. She's on fucking house arrest, for jury tampering, which is okay. Okay, that's okay. But with that, we now have, as of the 13th of May this year, a new update. And this is when the South Carolina Supreme Court kind of turned around and was like, listen, guys, jury tampering's a bit serious. What happened shouldn't have happened, and we need to go through this in a serious way. And they looked at it, and on the 13th of May, they decided with a unanimous ruling to overturn the murder convictions. overturn it. Overturn it. Okay. I will show you what I'm looking at now. This is Fox News. Yay. I listen, I may have issues with Fox News, but fuck it. South Carolina Supreme Court wiped away Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction on May 13th, ruling unanimously that the trial was irredeemably tainted by the conduct of Colton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Becky Hill. Last week, the South Carolina Supreme Court delivered an account of how Hill's conduct during the 2023 double murder trial crossed ethic and constitutional lines, ultimately unraveling the state's conviction of the Murdaugh. Both the state's and the Murdaugh's defense skillfully presented their case to the jury as the trial court delicately presided over the complicated and high-profile matter, the court wrote. However, their efforts were in vain because Colton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill, fuck, that is a very long tongue twister, placed her finger on the scales of justice, thereby denying Murdaugh his right to a fair trial by an impartial jury. Okay? So because of that, because of the impartial jury, his trial has been, his verdict has been overturned. They are going for a new trial. The new trial will happen next year, which is why I'm covering this now so that we have a basis of this. The new trial will happen next year. Alex Murdaugh is currently in the process of suing Becky Hill for this. However, he will not be seeing a red cent of it. Obviously, he owes a lot of people money, and if any of that money comes through, it'll most likely be redirected to the people he owes money to before he can see any of it. It'll probably be handled by all the lawyers, and he won't see anything, which is fine. He is still in jail. He stays in jail, and shall remain there for the remainder of his life, whether or not he lands up being convicted of the murders, due to the financial crimes alone. So, my throat is killing me. My throat is absolutely killing me. One juror, sorry, in this, back to this article for like 2 seconds. One alternate juror recorded Hill's warning jurors they're going to say things that will try and confuse you. Don't let them confuse you or convince you or throw you off. Bitch, you were confusing them, convincing them, and throwing them off. And now you've thrown off the entire thing and we've got to go through this trial all over again. Which, like, don't get me wrong. I will go through this trial again. I will happily sit through this and watch everything and report back to you guys because I want Alex to actually be convicted of this. Like, he did it. It needs to go through. It needs to stick, but it needs to be done the right way. And I understand that. Everything needs to be done the right way. I am dying. My throat is killing me. I have been live for an hour and a half. And I really just want to go chill. I'll be honest, guys. For the rest of this night, I'm going to be chilling and just watching the final episode of The Boys. If you have watched The Boys, I'm sorry. If you find The Boys entertaining, seek help. If you've managed to get the last episode of the last season of The Boys, like I have, let's start a fan club where we just never talk about it again. I think that's a great idea. It's an intense series, but I'm going to get into that. But there, Murdaugh case pretty much covered, but not fully covered. There's a lot to come through that'll happen in the next couple of years that I'm pretty sure I will end up covering at one point or another if I stick with true crime, which I'm pretty sure I will. Bunch of stuff. Oh, next week. Very important. Next week, Monday, the case that we are going to be covering. I recently found out that there has been an update in this case. And I didn't know this until I heard it through a grapevine of someone who I watch. And they mentioned it, and I was like, no. There's a fifth part. There can't be a fifth part. I didn't even think that this murder would ever be solved, okay? So next week, we will be going over a specific murder. There's a documentary that came out. I will try and find out what I can and try and shove it into one episode. I'm pretty sure I can. Even if I just take notes on, like, the documentary and try and find a few things, like, for us to go over, I definitely want to cover it. It's the yogurt shop murders that happened. I found that case a couple of years ago and I was like, this is fucking insane. Absolutely insane. But apparently there's an ending to it and we actually have a conclusion on that one. So I will be covering that one next week, Monday. As of tomorrow, though, we are going back to gaming, which will be great. I will be going into... what is the name of that game now? Hold on. It's somewhere here. It's somewhere here. Look for the T's, because it's in the where is it? Why can't I find it now? It's the Stanley Parable. There we go. Is it that one? I think it's that one. Did I say it correctly? But yeah, so we are yeah, the Stanley Parable. Thank you, Millie. That's what we are doing tomorrow. So I'm gonna see how there it is. Okay, yeah, the Stanley Parable. We're gonna go over that tomorrow. Start that, see how that goes. I'm quite excited. I've never played it before. It is installed, so I will have it set up and we will play it tomorrow. Tomorrow's also Friday, so I should be able to go for a little bit longer than normal. It's gonna be quite fun. But until then, guys, thank you for hanging out with me today, and thank you for letting me just ramble for like an hour and a half about this damn case and how it's been irritating me and how now we need to do more stuff. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye out for any updates. If anything does happen that's worthy of me putting out like a live on it, I'll let you know. I'm also looking, like, there's a lot of things that happened during the week that I couldn't make a live out of, but like if I kept those stories together and I just put it into one live at the end of the week, I might look at doing it, something like that. And then there's obviously a couple of other things in the works. Also, my detective outfit is almost here. It should be here within the next 2 weeks. Very excited for that as well. But until then, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day wherever you are. And if it's raining, dance in the rain. If it's sunny and shining, stay away from the big, scary, gassy ball. Okay, it's evil. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have fun. Bye.